Good afternoon, everyone. This is Eric Payton at eAero, and I am going to be demonstrating the use of the artificially intelligent lessons that I have developed for instrument instruction. This first video is just going to be on how to properly use the menus inside the scenarios window. And I'm currently sitting in the Cessna 172. I have I'm on the ramp at San Luis Obispo. I have a race chair here that I'm sitting in. I have the Diagma yoke and one motion controller. I'm wearing the Samsung Odyssey headset. I have also incorporated a holster here, which goes right down here, and I can just set that down there in the blind and reach for it in the blind and see it no problem. I'm also using a wireless keyboard from Logitech that has the mouse touchpad on it, and I have enabled the X-Plane mouse in case I wanted to use that. I've also set some of the buttons on the yoke. The one on the left is to reset or recenter the VR cockpit. So I look forward and I look straight ahead. I press that once. Okay, now I'm looking perfectly straight ahead. And I can reach down for this controller, and I'm going to grab on that menu with the green bar at the top, and I'm just going to reposition that somewhere where it's not in the middle of my controls. Let me put it right about here. Okay, so let me show you how this works. I got 3 buttons at the top. I got the unload button, resume button, and the pause button. It says no scenario is loaded, which is true. I haven't loaded anything. And it's going to give me my score throughout the scenario here. And this green bar will denote how much my score is. This has my evaluation time, whether the scenario is running or not, and the evaluation time. Currently, there is no active tasks. And in this next section here called active evaluators, if any of these are in red, it means I'm currently being evaluated in that area. So the first one is vertical speed, and that's not in red, so I'm not being evaluated there. Then I have heading, altitude, your CDI course, so that's called nav, GS, which is basically my VCDI, my vertical glide slope, and finally my airspeed. And below, this will give me what my current targets need to be for each of those areas of interest. The next area down here is a list of all the current scenarios that are available in the instrument flight artificial intelligence setup. The first is the level flight, and these little arrows you can highlight each one and expand it. Or when you press and hold the button down, you can see a pop-up here of a description of what each scenario is. So this one says flying a specific heading and altitude, suddenly the weather degrades and instruments begin to fail. So that's that one. And as I expand it, it will give me the current information on that scenario and whether I've completed it or not. So currently with that one, I have not ever completed it. I can do 3 things. I can look at the pre-briefing, can initialize my position, and then load the scenario. So the pre-briefing will bring up a web page, which isn't available currently in VR. But if you took your VR headset off, you can watch the pre-briefing on a website. There's also a video of that scenario taking place. Now, initialized position will reset the airplane to the position where it needs to be to start the scenario. And then the third button is to load the lesson. So as you open up each one of these, you can see here the status of it and whether I've ever completed it or whether you've ever completed it or not. So each one of those can be done that way. So that concludes the demo of how to use these scenarios in and E arrow. Thank you so much.